Uh, Good evening, viewers and listeners of Concerned Citizens Media. I stopped by to share just a few short news, couple of breaking news. And today is September 30, 2021. Thank you for joining me again. You are always welcome here at Concerned Citizens Media. I also appreciate your comments and sharing the video with friends and family and liking the video so we can grow Concerned Citizens Media to be the voice for more people. Thank you again. So, the war is still going on. Heavy fighting, especially between Afar and Tigray region, especially the place I told you about yesterday. Is it Ibela? TDF is, uh, attempting to capture that area because, uh, as I told you yesterday, they were trying to infiltrate through that border area into Mekele. So now TDS is uh, conducting heavy operation to capture that city. Is maybe a town or it's a border town in Afar, between Afar and the Tigray region. So we are watching it and we'll report to you as soon as a breakthrough happen. So Ethiopia is, has been trying to intimidate the international community, especially the humanitarian aid agencies, bullying them, accusing them. Now start evicting them from Ethiopia. So that is one reason I start by. So let's read. Ethiopia expels UN officials amid Tigray blockade pressure. Ethiopia said Thursday it is kicking out seven United Nations officials whom it accused of meddling in the country's internal affairs as pressure grows on the government over its deadly blockade of the Tigray region. The expulsion are the government's most dramatic move yet to restrict humanitarian access to the region of 6 million people after nearly a year of war. The United Nations has become increasingly outspoken as the flow of medical supplies, food, and fuel has been brought to a near halt. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres said he was shocked by the announcement and expressed full confidence in UN staff, saying they are guided by impartiality and neutrality. In a statement, he said the United Nations is engaging with Ethiopia's government in the expectation that the concerned United Nations staff will be allowed to continue their important work. Ethiopia's government has accused humanitarian workers of supporting the Tigray forces who have been fighting its soldiers and allied forces since November. Aid workers have denied it. Thousands of people have died in the conflict marked by gang rapes, mass expansion, and the destruction of health centers, with witness often blaming Ethiopia's soldiers and those of neighboring Eritrea. The United Nations humanitarian chief, Martin Griffin, this week told the Associated Press that the crisis in Ethiopia is a stain on our conscience as children and others starve to death in Tigray under what the United Nations called a de facto government blockade. Just 10% of needed humanitarian supplies have been reaching Tigray in recent weeks, he said. I also reported yesterday on this one. The remarks were one of the sharpest criticism so far of the world's worst hunger crisis in a decade, with some 400,000 people facing famine conditions. Memories of the 1980s famine in Ethiopia, which killed around 1 million people and produced images that shocks the world, are vivid in his mind, Griffin said. And we fervently hope this is not happening at present. A statement from Ethiopia's foreign ministry said the 7 United Nations officials must leave the country within 72 hours. Foreign Affairs Ministry spokesman Dina Mufti didn't respond to a request for details of their alleged interference. The United States, condemned the expansion, with White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki agreeing that Ethiopia's crisis is a stain on our collective conscience that must stop. Depriving your own citizens of the basic means of survival is unacceptable, she said, and warned that Washington could impose financial sanctions on those who obstruct humanitarian assistance to the people of Ethiopia. Asked why the Biden administration is not taking action now, Psaki responded that absent clear and concrete changes, she added that the White House is looking to see meaningful steps within weeks toward a negotiated ceasefire. The people expelled include 5 with the United Nations Humanitarian Agency, including Deputy Coordinator Grant Leety, 1 from the United Nations Human Rights Office, and the 1 UNICEF representative in the country, Adele Kodir. A spokesperson for the United Nations Office for Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs and some of the individuals expelled didn't immediately comment. Finding from a joint investigation into the war by the United Nations Human Rights Office and the government-created Ethiopian Human Rights Commission, a rare setup that has drawn concerns and criticism, are scheduled for release on November 1. It was not immediately clear if the probe will be affected by the expulsion of a UN member of the joint team, Sonny Onigbula. The expulsion comes as the United Nations earlier, Ethiopian government suspended the operation of 2 major international aid groups, Doctors Without Borders and the Norwegian Refugee Committee, accusing them of spreading misinformation about the war. The government is so worried that humanitarian workers boarding rare flights to Tigray have been told they couldn't bring such items as can openers, multivitamins and medicine, even personal ones, as well as the means to document the crisis, including hard drives and flash drives. Too much restriction. Griffin told the Associated Press he too was searched, with authorities examining everything in his bag and questioning why he was carrying earphones. For months, humanitarian workers have been increasingly hesitant to speak openly about the government's blockade of Tigray for fear of losing access to the region. But the lack of fuel and other supplies has left many without the means to help, so as some people starve. They have got their fists around our throats with white knuckles, strangling us. One humanitarian worker told the Associated Press this week, on condition of anonymity for fear of retaliation. They just let us gasp from time to time so we don't die. Credit for this report, Associated Press. So Ethiopia is choosing or chose to confrontation with global community and preventing aid organizations from helping those people in need of assistance, to alleviate the hunger or the famine many medias talked about. So this is bullying. This is testing the will of the international organizations and the international community. And I think they will be punished for doing that. There is no free pass for exposing millions of people in Tigray and other areas to hunger by expulsion of humanitarian workers. So they will be punished. It's a matter of time. They will be accountable. They cannot go free like they did with the domestic issues. They can kill anybody, they can arrest anybody, and without any accountability. Now they are applying the same thing to the global community, and they are testing the global community and just hoping China and Russia will be on their side, and they can do whatever they want to do. They will be punished, and I will report as soon as that punishment announced from either from United States or European Union or the United Nations. There is a challenge over there because of China and Russia, but I hope they will join the global community to punish Abiy Ahmed and his administration for bullying the global community, for challenging the global community, and for causing hunger, this man-made hunger in Tigray and other areas. Uh, you know, uh, he will not pass a free. He will not get a free pass. He will be accounted for, and we will see. So that is one news, and I want to share with you. The other one is a change of leadership in Amhara region, and there is no reason given, but there is Mr. Agenyo Teshagar, former president of Amhara region in Ethiopia, is replaced by another guy. Amhara State Council named Dr. Yilkal Kafale president. The Amhara Region State Council has elected Yilkal Kafale, PhD, president of the region. Yilkal Kafale appeared before the council and took an oath. He previously served as head of the Education Bureau of Amhara Regional State. So I don't know why they remove Agenyo Teshager, why they replaced him by Dr. Ilik Al-Kafale. We don't know. But it's a change of leadership. It didn't happen in Oromia, it didn't happen in other regions. So now it's happening in Amhara region. It could be some issue between Abiy Ahmed and Agenyo Teshager, or maybe Abiy Ahmed tried to bring him to the federal level. We don't know. We are watching it, but the news is he is removed. He is removed. Agenyo Teshager is removed from Amhara region president. So this is reported by government-affiliated media, Walter. So the other news is election is going on, and I cannot call it election. It's just a voting for Prosperity Party is going on in a Somalia region of Ethiopia. All the opposition parties are out, including Ogaden National Liberation Front and others. So now who is there? Prosperity Party. People have no alternatives except voting for Prosperity Party, and the Prosperity Party then they're gonna say we conducted a special election, never happened in Ethiopia before. They're gonna say they don't feel ashamed. They don't care about lying. They don't care about democracy. They care about dominating everything for the next 5 years. They don't care about accountability. They don't care about atrocities. They don't care about human rights violations. They don't care about the global community's demand for settling the country's issues through dialogue and reconciliation. They don't care. They just care about fake election and forming the government. Then continue the killing, the jailing, and all other atrocities and the bloody war without any accountability, and they keep lying without apologizing. They just they don't care about the country is failing, the country is isolated, and unemployment is high, bloody war is happening. They don't care. What they care about? 5 years in power for the next 5 years. They do whatever they can to win. Now that is happening in Somalia region of Ethiopia. So that's all I have for now, and a couple of videos, then close. Make it short, today's presentation. Thank you again. There we go. Couple of videos and finish today's presentation. There we go.
One of the big stories we're following, and that is that vote to avoid a government shutdown. I want to go back to NBC's Leanne Caldwell. And Leanne, I think that just moments ago, the vote was gavelled. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know you will.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Hallie. The vote was gavelled, and so it did pass 254 to 175. So that means that there's several dozen Republicans who also voted for the short-term government funding bill. And so now it has cleared both chambers of Congress. It will head to the president's desk for him to sign it, to keep the lights on. And they did it just in the nick of time because government funding was set to run out tonight at midnight, and Democrats, just like Congress, to always wait until they really have a deadline to the last minute to get this done. So now that they've solved one challenge, now they have just 3 left on their plate. One is to suspend or lift the debt limit by October 18th, and then to pass this bipartisan infrastructure bill on roads and bridges, and also this multi-trillion-dollar social human infrastructure bill that Democrats want to pass as well. So what we're waiting for right now is challenge number 2, and that's that bipartisan infrastructure bill, and see if they actually hold a vote in the House of Representatives today or not. Speaker Pelosi says that she doesn't bring anything to the floor that does not pass. Well,
Right.
we don't know yet if she has the votes, and she has not yet scheduled that vote either, Hallie.
Okay, so that's Congress averting the government shutdown at the last minute. Okay, one more video, then the end.
I said goodbye to you yesterday. So we're about to go into the council, I think, as you know, and hopefully adopt a short resolution renewing the mandate for UNSML for a period up to the end of January, we hope. And it's very short, sweet, straightforward. So we'll have an important decision that we'll take now in the next few minutes on Libya.
Libya and then one on Ethiopia, but on Libya, it means that you're going to have a rollover, effectively, and it means you're not going to have that SRSG on the ground in Tripoli that some members wanted to try and nudge forward the election process. Is that worrying to you in the national capacity in terms of trying to get the parties to have that election, which is just months away?
Look, what I think is important is that the Council is united behind the mandate in the crucial run-up. As you say, the elections are within months. We have an SRSG with the responsibility to work to support that election. The strategic review of the Secretary-General had proposals on structure, which we favoured. It'll take more time, I think, to see that rolled out. The important thing is that now, at this critical time for Libya's own future, that the UN is fully united, of course, but the Security Council, importantly, is united behind the mandate. That's the important thing.
Can I ask you one on Ethiopia as well, because you're aware of the decision by the Ethiopian government to declare some of the key figures in the UN operation in Ethiopia persona non grata. The UN humanitarian chief, Martin Griffiths, has already said that it's likely there's a famine already in Tigray. Do you believe this expulsion of the top UN staff is part of an attempt by the Ethiopian government to use starvation as a weapon?
Look, like the Secretary-General, I'm deeply shocked by what we've just heard about the expulsion of senior humanitarian workers. You've heard me time and again here raise our concerns about Tigray, now I would say about northern Ethiopia. We know that there are people who are starving in the region, particularly in Tigray, but we're recognising the risks more generally in northern Ethiopia. What we want to see is that people who need food, who need water, who need medicine, who need access to basic human resources are in a position to access those. Now is not the time to put obstacles in the way of people who are in dire humanitarian need. So I'm hoping that the Secretary-General's statement and his suggestion that engagement is still underway, that the workers themselves, senior OCHA staff, have not yet left Ethiopia, will in itself prove to be productive, and that we will see the humanitarian principles that we all support here respected by the Ethiopian government. That's what we want to see happen. I think the Security Council will, in short term, have to engage with this very soon, in our view. We want to see the weight of the Council come behind the work of the United Nations in Ethiopia. and certainly the situation in terms of food and food insecurity is a major concern. It's not new. We've been saying this since the day we arrived on the Security Council. We're now at a crisis moment, and we will certainly be active. We're already talking to our Security Council colleagues in the last couple of hours about how we move forward. We want to see the Council act. Thanks.
Madam President, thank you. Probably the last time.
Thank you for never say never.
Okay, that's a briefing at the United Nations, and that's Security Council President speaking about Ethiopia expansion of senior United Nations workers from the country at the time when we need them the most. So Abiy Ahmed is testing the global community. He is showing the power just by, accusing them and meddling in the country's business without showing no proof. So he passed in the case of Norwegian aid agency and Doctors Without Borders. Now he is using and showing that authority again by expulsion of these 7 United Nations human rights, United Nations aid organization workers. So we will see. He got a warning from United States, and the Security Council also will have a say on this one. I hope so. I hope we will get the support of China and Russia for this case to have a voice, a joint statement from Security Council. Most of the time, they are China and Russia are obstacles. Any case coming into the Security Council, especially when it comes to Ethiopia. It happened in the last 8 hearings on Ethiopia. So we don't know if they're going to agree in the next meeting. We'll watch it. But this is a very serious one. Abiy is showing the force. He is telling them, you can't do nothing to me. I can do whatever I want to do. I can do whatever I want to do. Whether in a domestic issue or on the global issues. Nobody can challenge him. He has been accused of rape, torture, and other human rights violations. He didn't feel it because he is not brought to justice. The accusation is there. And still the accusations in the country. Even like in the last 2-3 days, many, especially in Oromia, they can, shut down your store, shut down your business, shut down your hotel, take away your property without any accountability. They can jail you. They can move prisoners from prison to prison, wherever they want to do, torture, and punish them with hunger, closing, and other atrocities. They can do. Now they are applying the same standard to the global community. So we will see how the global community act on this matter and other atrocities happening in Ethiopia. So I hope this bullying, this intimidation will bring severe penalty to Abiy Ahmed and his associates. So we'll see. So thank you, and that's all I have for today. I will be back with other news and other concerned citizens' comment on the next breakthroughs. Thank you. So long, everyone.